And this, now, after that long introduction, is where our story begins. Okay, this is one of my heroes here, is Pierre L'Enfant. Pierre L'Enfant, my dad's an architect. He's of French nobility. His father's a painter in the court. And what does Pierre do? He decides he's going to join the French Revolution, or the American Revolution. I say to people, I wouldn't even have gotten on a boat. I mean, I'd be too scared to sail across the Atlantic back in 1770 or whatever it was. So Pierre, not only does he do this, he fights in the Revolution, and he gets to know George Washington at Valley Forge. Okay? I always thought this would be a good reunion. The guys after Valley Forge is like, what are you doing? And George Washington's going to say, well, I'm actually the president of a new country. And I'm like, wow, you did pretty good for yourself. So Pierre knows George, and he says, can I design the new city plan? So I'm going to make an analogy back here. The two men on the right I'm going to call men of words, and the two on the left I'm going to call men of action. So Hamilton and Jefferson basically represent what's happening in the South. Is Jefferson and the agrarian interests, and Hamilton is representing what's happening in the North in New York. They have to pick a place. I'm getting somewhere with this, guys, I promise. We're sitting in that place. That place is on the banks of the Potomac, and it'll be the federal city. Washington has to oversee all of this stuff as the general that he is, and he assigns L'Enfant to a commission to head up how that federal city is going to be laid out. This is an early plan. I'm not exactly sure it's one of the original L'Enfant plans. Another hero in my story is Steve Calcott. And Steve, I'm sure I'll get to Steve later in terms of how great he is in terms of navigating this whole process. But in the early L'Enfant plan, you'll notice we've got the president's house there. Now, in true architectural fashion, the president's house, he notes the colors to be determined by owner. Because he didn't want any blame bestowed upon him for that.
That's funny.
So L'Enfant starts in March 9th in 91, and he's laying out the grid. This is a big responsibility. You got the guy who's on the $1 bill, the guy who's on the $2 bill, and the guy who's on the $10 bill. Are all coming down to check out your plans. A lot of pressure. L'Enfant liked to have a couple of beers, like some of us do. So he's working late into the night. He's got these guys that are going to, scrutinize his plan. He lays the grid out, and he puts his beer down. And through the course of the night, he has a couple more beers. When you take the beers away, you're left with circles. So you connect the circles, and all of a sudden we have the plan for the federal city. I should have a disclaimer on that. There's a little fiction there, but you get the point. Okay, and now this is where chapter 2 of our story begins.